everyone, this is Alex, and I wanted to do a quick kind of book, or not book review. Yeah, a book review actually. Sorry, that's what I'm looking for. I know I just recently uploaded a book haul / faves, and I wanted to go more in depth into some of the books in that list that I gave. I'm actually just going to talk about one of them tonight, and I'll probably do a series of these, but this is just part one, and I apologize if this is out of sync, because I'm using my webcam instead of my camera like last night. My camera doesn't capture very good lighting, and its battery is almost dead. So, yeah. Anyways, the book I'm talking about is Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantasy. And basically this book is about Jessica Packwood, also known as Antonasia Dragomir, and she is a Romanian princess. Now, she knows she's a Romanian princess, but what she doesn't know is that she's a Romanian vampire princess. And basically, Lucius Vladescu, who is her betrothed fiance in the novel, he comes to Pennsylvania where she lives, and basically he just comes because he wants her to, basically she's supposed to know about the pact that took place between both the Packwoods both the Dragomirs and the Vladescus. And this pact basically is what is a peace treaty, and it states basically that Antonasia and Lucius have to get married to each other, and they have to produce an heir. Otherwise, the Vladescus basically have permission to go to war. And Jessica doesn't want to be involved with this. She thinks it's just a game of politics. And also she thinks Lucius is she thinks he's crazy because he's going off that, hey, he's a vampire. And she doesn't believe that he's a vampire until after an incident involving a horse race. He doesn't believe her. She doesn't believe him until she sees him basically drink blood and all of his bones heal within not even a week. So basically, yeah, that's kind of how she realizes, holy crap, this guy's a vampire. And he gives her a book, and it's a guidebook about basically being a vampire. And the title of the book, it's called Growing Up Undead, a teen vampire's guide to dating, health, and emotions. I couldn't remember the title, but it was on the back, so I was really glad about that. But basically, this is like one of the best books I've ever read. I cried, I laughed, I got angry, and this is probably one of those good books that if I had the choice, I would probably reread again and again and again. And I bought this not too long ago. I bought this over a year ago. I bought it, I believe, in April or May of 2010, and it's it's June of 2011. So, it's not fairly new. But, basically, they both end up confessing Jessica doesn't want to admit that she has feelings for Lucius. Lucius doesn't want to admit it after Jessica's basically open and willing to talk about it. He decides he doesn't want to be involved with her because he kind of comes to a realization that his family would want him to kill her, and he loves her too much to want to kill her. So he ends up with this school cheerleader, Faith Cross, who has never liked Jessica at all and is always upset, angry, and just doesn't flat out just does not like Jessica at all. And basically Jessica gets upset by this because she sees the two of them together, and she wants that. She wants what they have, and he won't give it to her. And she doesn't realize she's feelings towards him until kind of around, it's like it's between a time period of Halloween and Christmas, because by Christmas she has fully realized she loves him. So maybe around Thanksgiving, in that area, that's when she fully realizes she does have feelings for him, and she's scared to admit it. And basically Lucius doesn't want to admit anything to her after he comes to the realization that his family would possibly try to make him kill her. It's a good book. It's a really good read. It's really simple. For the most part, there are a few things, I had problems with just because it talks about horses, and I don't know a lot about horses, but you kind of pick it up as you go along. Like, I have a cousin who's involved with horses, so I was very easily able to go to her and just ask her what terms were, and she was just able to answer them for me. But, it's a really good book. I fell in love with it. I'm so glad I picked this up, and I only got it because of the cover. That's all I thought. All I saw was this dress that the cover has. I think it's supposed to be Jessica, but I want to say it's Jessica. That's not how I picture it, but it's Jessica. Whatever. I picked this up because of the dress. I have a dress that's similar to it that I wore for my homecoming of my sophomore year, and that's what made me pick it up, because I was sitting there and I saw it and I was thinking, this dress looks a lot like a dress I had. So I picked it up, I looked at it, and I looked at the back and I thought, sounds interesting. And by then I finished all the Twilight books, the House of Night books, and the Vampire Academy books that were out and available to buy, and the Morganville Vampire books also. And so I just wanted something else to read, and I didn't think it was vampire related. It's really not so much vampire related. Yes, they mention it because they both are vampires, but it's more of a romance story. That's how I see it. And I felt like I could relate to Jessica, because there were moments in the book where I felt like crying. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, how does this kind of stuff happen? I really don't know what to say. It's a really good book. It's a book I would recommend. Actually, my dad has read it. My sister has read it. They don't have it out in Spanish. I haven't found it in Spanish, but if I find it in Spanish, I'll buy it for my mom, so my mom can read it. Now, there is an unofficial sequel to this, and it's The Wedding of Jessica Antonasia Packwood and Lucius Lorelee. Don't remember his middle name, Vladescu, but it's on her website, which I'll post a link to in the bottom bar. But basically, it's not basically, it is the two of them getting married. You see the wedding, you see just all that lovely jazz. And I actually printed the wedding out because my dad didn't know how to use a computer. Still doesn't, but I printed it out just so, I had a printed copy. So if I wanted to read it and I didn't have my laptop with me, or I didn't have access to a computer, I could just go ahead and read it. I know my sister has read The Wedding, and there's a sequel due out in the winter of this year, like late fall to winter of this year, and it's called Jessica Rules the Dark Side. And I know in my last video I totally botched up the title, but it is Jessica Rules the Dark Side, because I went back to the website today and I double checked it. Now Beth Fantasy has either it's the prologue or it's part of the first chapter up, and she has an excerpt from from chapter 4 put up on the website also. And again, I will post links to those down in the bottom bar. And they're, from what I've read of the sequel, I'm really excited for it to come out. I have sent her emails and I have asked her if she was going to make this into a movie, and she said no. Well, she said she hasn't thought of it, but I am excited. If this ends up being a movie, I would love to go see it in theaters. Do I have a specific a specific person in my head casted for either of these roles? I really don't. I just think, you know, it'd be awesome to see as a movie. I would totally love to see this as a movie. I guess that's all I really have to say. It's a good book. It's a book I would recommend to anyone who's looking for a book that has romance, adventure, slightly dark, and horror. Like, it's not too dark, but it's a really good book. And, I mean, I loved this. And, it's a really good book, and I fell in love with it instantaneously. I'm pretty sure I fell in love with it before I even opened the book. But as you read more and more, you learn more about Jessica, and basically she's trying to find herself throughout this entire mess. She's trying to find out who she is, where she wants to go, who she wants to be. Does she want to be a human, or does she want to be a vampire princess? Does she just want to be a regular vampire? Does she want to be with Lucius? Does she want to be with Jake? It's just basically about everyday life in its own nostalgic kind of way. It is. A lot of the thoughts she has in her head are thoughts I've had in my own head. Except for the vampire princess part. I'm neither a vampire nor B, a princess. I do happen to have a vampire sleep schedule during the summertime. I'm awake during night, sleep during the day, for the most part, until people interrupt my schedule, and it's still I'm still getting ready. No, tomorrow it will be official that I've been out for a week, so it's just kind of a come and go thing, like, you gotta get into it. But yes, that's all I'm gonna say, because I'm rambling. So I just want to say, I hope you buy this. This was a really hard book for me to... I've gone to several bookstores, and I've looked around for it. And I know Borders has it. I've seen it at Hastings, and I have seen it at Barnes & Noble. But when I went to... I went to Barnes & Noble a few times. Like, they didn't have it in stock for like a few good months at Barnes & Noble. They didn't even have it in stock, which I was kind of surprised because I had seen it there for like almost every time, and then they just didn't have it in stock, and they didn't even have Jacko Loves Hyde, which is another book written by Beth Fantasy, there either. But it should be fairly easy to obtain. So I hope you guys read it, and if you read it, leave a book review or reaction to the book as a video response if you want. I would totally love to see what you guys have to say on it. And that's all I'm going to say. So bye.